All right, let's talk about here in this Wednesday, March the 8th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Meteorologist Matthew East here along with you. There's a look early this morning during the 5 o'clock hour from our Greensboro Tower camera. Cold front's working through the region, and once that front clears through, we have sunshine for a couple of days here. A couple of really nice weather days here as we go through this early to mid section of the month of March. Now, there's a look down in Charlotte from the Dowd YMCA camera, looking down toward Moorhead Street. In fact, on the left, hey, that's the Time Warner Cable News building. How about that? Temperature 59 at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. Very mild start to the day out there this morning. More on that in a second. This was the time-lapse imagery from yesterday afternoon to around sunset of the Avalon Pier web camera over in the beautiful North Carolina Outer Banks. Pretty good amount of cloud cover around the region yesterday. In spite of that, it was still a pretty warm day. Look at these highs yesterday afternoon, up to 76 in Fayetteville, 77 in Columbia, 73 in Wilmington. It was anywhere from mid-60s in the foothills and the Triad viewing area to 73 in Lexington and Burlington. Primarily low and mid-70s around the Charlotte viewing area yesterday afternoon. Again, 5 a.m. temperatures, still quite mild. Slightly cooler air, but really not much of a temperature change behind this front. Mainly it's a drier air mass. Now, eventually in the northern plains up into Canada, it's pretty good building up of cold air. That's what will get here over the weekend. But in the meantime, here's that drier air moving in. Dew points much lower west of the mountains, and that's the drier, much less sticky type of air that's going to be here sooner rather than later today. Last little batch of some light rain early this morning ahead of that departing cold front. As that continues to exit, we're going to be in good shape here as today rolls along. So there's the front exiting off to the southeast. Sunshine builds in behind it sooner rather than later here across most of the region. There's your highs this afternoon. Again, not a great deal of temperature change at all associated with this front. Now tomorrow, even warmer, sunshine, really a beautiful, beautiful day Thursday. Look at these highs tomorrow afternoon. That's great stuff. And Friday, the next cold front, the leading edge of the much chillier air for the weekend moves through. But due to the timing of this front, I still think a pretty mild day Friday, although certainly the winds will kick up during the afternoon and temperatures will tail off pretty quickly Friday night. Now let's get into the weekend. There's your Saturday high temperatures, much cooler. I think for the majority of the region, Saturday during the daylight hours will be dry, so not a bad start to the weekend. Cooler, but dry. But then this next system rolls in from the west, and this has been a very interesting one to watch. This is the GFS representation of the system, which I'll show you in more detail in just a second. Take this with mounds of salt, but it continues to really crank the snow, especially I-40 and points north. The European model, much more conservative, but still putting down some snow across the region. So let me step you through this. What's happening here? First of all, there's the 500 millibar chart today, and then as we get into, this is the European, by the way, we get into Sunday morning, there's that next piece of energy moving in. I'll show you the Canadian and as well coming up in just a second. But let me step you through, first of all, this is the 0Z run of the GFS. I have not seen the 6Z run as of yet, as I cut the video. So sunshine builds in today. Sunshine tomorrow. Cold front moves through Friday, very limited precipitation chances. And again, during the daylight hours Saturday, this is the precipitation Saturday afternoon until around a little after sunset Saturday evening. So you notice most of the Carolina is still precipitation free. But there you go. This is Saturday evening into the overnight hours, and then the back half of the night, Saturday night until daybreak Sunday. And then the system exits as we get deeper into Sunday afternoon. And then it's gone thereafter. This is the GFS snow totals that it prints out. Again, take this with tremendous mounds of salt. Now, if you're looking for ensemble support from the GFS, this is the percentages, the probabilities, if you will, of getting an inch of snow. And you're now seeing some of the 70% plus probabilities in the northern third of the state showing up. So you're getting more and more ensemble support for the idea. On the European model, again, it is a lighter precipitation event, but it still wants to print out some snow in that Saturday night into Sunday time period. The deal is you got, and I'll show you on the Canadian here, you got plenty of cold air off to the north. This is really cold air for this time of year in the Ohio Valley in the northeast, and it's in a cold air damming fashion building down in here. So this is the Canadian at daybreak Sunday. There's Sunday morning's precipitation until early afternoon. And so during that time period, you get that. Not a lot of snow once you get east of the mountains, but a little bit of snow. Now, the Canadian continues with this idea of another area of low pressure kind of spinning up Monday. This is Monday evening, and then lifting up the coast from there. And so you get additional snows on the Canadian model with that secondary low, and that has shown up on some of the modeling from time to time. So what is the takeaway from all this? You have a system moving through Saturday night and Sunday, maybe a trailing piece of energy later Monday, say Monday night into early Tuesday. That is much more questionable, though. With the system over the weekend, could it trend north? Absolutely. Absolutely could trend north, and there probably will be a bit of a northward adjustment. But I do think at this stage of the game, there's a decent chance north of I-40 for seeing some snow, at least for part of the system, as the weekend rolls along. Again, Saturday night into Sunday morning. It's interesting. Of course, it's getting toward mid-March. It gets less and less likely that you get into March, but we certainly have had snow before in March. Not that unheard of at all. So we'll see. It's interesting to see. I think the southward trend is just probably about stopped on the modeling, and we'll see how much of a northward adjustment occurs as we get closer to the weekend. All right, that is it for the latest edition of the video. Everybody, have a wonderful day, and God bless.